What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Retention Lifestyle channel. And I'm going to talk about, your best version of yourself does not watch pornography. Your best version of yourself, the one that God is working on creating, the one that God is continuously working on every day, that version of you does not watch pornography. It don't, bro. It really doesn't. You see, the pornography industry has lied to a lot of young men when it comes to, receiving pleasure, right? And receiving this pleasure, you're receiving it by, artificial means. You're receiving it by something that is heavenly fabricated. A lot of young men are just uninformed. They think they're watching two people have sex, when in reality, they're just watching two people act out what sex looks like, right? But it's not really sex. It's not. Sex is not supposed to be, of what you see on these adult films, right? It's more of a spiritual thing. It's a way to procreate. It's a way to create life. Sex is a way to create life. It's not always for pleasure. Now, pleasure is part of it, with the woman that you're sleeping with, the woman that that's basically your wife, right? Or a concubine or a girlfriend, whoever, right? Whole purpose of sex is to create life. That's what God had in mind when he came up with sex between male and female. But what you see on porn, it's completely overly dramatic. It's not real. It's not real pleasure. It's not a real dopamine rush. Your brain is being lied to. Your brain is thinking that you're the one that is having sex with this woman, right? But you're not. You're just watching a film. You just happen to be horny and aroused of what you're seeing. But if you can only look at yourself watching this adult content, you would be very ashamed of yourself the way that God is. Because when the Most High is watching you indulge in this content and this, this demonic activity, he is ashamed. He's disappointed. You should be looking at yourself the same way that the Most High is looking at you in terms of disappointment. Because that's very disappointing for a man, a grown man, to be aroused and to be getting his rocks off of watching porn. Especially nowadays where there's so many channels out here, bro, that is giving you advice, that's telling you how dangerous this industry is towards young men. And it's not the same thing with women and their brain. Our brain is completely different from a woman's brain. How we receive that dopamine rush, it's very detrimental to our neurotransmitters. It's very detrimental to our brain health. It will literally make you stupid. It will literally make you stupid if you keep watching it. All the information that's available out on the internet when it pertains to pornography addiction, and you still watching these porn sites, you still on these porn sites, you're still watching all these videos, you're still jacking off to all these videos, you got to be on point, man. You got to get it together. You know, enough is enough. Your best version is not going to watch adult film. Your best version is doing what it's supposed to be doing. Your best version is chasing and pursuing your purpose in life. The best version of you is getting inside the gym and working out, staying active, living a healthier lifestyle, right? The best version of you is connecting with God. The best version of you is chasing that bag, establishing yourself as a man. The best version of you is going to procreate with the wife that God has for you, right? The best version of you is going to complete their goals this year in 2023. For a lot of men, pornography is the biggest anchor in a man's life. It's an anchor. It's something that can not only physically hold you down, but can also mentally hold you down. It can also spiritually hold you down, because turning on that type of content, it's like you are having sex with these people, right? But you're not. But in a spiritual sense, you're just engaging with different type of spirits that you're not supposed to be engaging with. You're not supposed to be, tuning in to these type of spirits, man. And they start to take over. They start to, become a parasite inside of your soul, right? And this parasite, which is pornography, is going to keep badgering you to keep on watching, to keep on going back for that arousal, for that dopamine rush, and for that, for that feeling, right? It's so addictive that you want to keep going back and going back. But you got to get to a point, man, you got to starve that parasite. In order to destroy that parasite inside of your soul, you got to starve it. You got to starve the flesh. The flesh has to be starved. That's the only way it's going to die. If you starve it. Your flesh has to be disciplined. Because once your flesh is disciplined, when it pertains to dopamine, cheap dopamine hits, cheap dopamine rushes, you're going to be operating at a whole different level, right? You're going to be operating on a whole different level, a level that you did not imagine yourself to be at before, when you were addicted, when you were jacking off every day. And that was the lowest version of you possible. That was the lowest version that the enemy was feeding off of every time. The enemy feeds off the lowest version of you. And when you're at the lowest version of you, you're vibrating very low. You're just in a funk. And it's time to get yourself out of that funk and start to operate at the best version of you. Start living in that. Start being that. Start, becoming that every day. So I hope this video helped you guys understand that your best version of you is not watching porn. I'm now over 100 days of quitting pornography for good. And yes, I've had my challenges. I've had my obstacles with pornography. I've had my obstacles and my challenges all sorts of pornography. Back then, I was a huge addict. A huge addict. You know what I'm saying? Turning on the most weirdest stuff, man, on these type of sites. And just becoming aroused off this stuff. It's very sickening what you see on these adult films, right? But to the eye, it's very, very addicting and arousing, right? But when you really tap in spiritually, you're gonna figure out how disgusting and how perverted this stuff really is, how sickening it is to watch. But you see, your lower self doesn't know that because it's still operating in the flesh. You get me? It's still operating in the flesh. It's still operating in those low-level desires, right? And like I said, I've been there, right? I've been at that lowest point in my life, the lowest version, where I could not go an entire day without watching porn, without masturbating, without ejaculating. And it's very sick, bro. You know, it's like me even talking about it, it makes me feel sick. It really do. It makes me feel disgusted of myself that I was actually addicted to this stuff, to the type of stuff that I was watching on the internet. It makes me sick to my stomach knowing I was addicted to that shit, man. I was into that this entire time, like, and you start questioning yourself, like what's wrong with me? You know, like what is wrong with me? Like why would I even indulge in this type of content? You know, but like I said, we become so addicted, and we just go off the feeling, right? And we just completely block out all logic and all rational thinking when it pertains to how dangerous, how detrimental this is to our brain, to our mental health. You know, you gotta take a step back, bro, and realize what this is doing to your life. You know it's negatively impacting your life. And if you're one of those people that think that it's not negatively impacting your life, you're lying to yourself. You're lying to yourself. Because it most certainly is. You just don't know it yet. You may think it's not right now, but keep indulging. You'll find out. You'll find out sooner or later how dangerous this thing is impacting your life. It will hit you very later. It will hit you soon. Sooner or later, it's going to hit you. You're going to find out eventually. And once you realize how sickening that is to watch, how disgusting, how perverted that type of stuff is, you're going to want to block it out of your life. You're going to want to stop watching. And you're going to want to seek the Most High. Straight up, man. So with that being said, I'm about to get up out of here. This is a Retention Lifestyle channel. Like the video for the algorithm so it can be triggered. Subscribe if you're new. Thank y'all for watching. With that being said, I'm out. Peace.